Hi, my name is Lily Ullman, and this is my final video project for Marketing 345 at West Virginia University. So during this project, I basically used multiple social media channels to convert engagement into donations and hopefully meet a $100 quota. However, I also find that one of my overall goals was just to get a better understanding at each respective platform and what works and what doesn't across different channels. Getting right into my strategy, I focused on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday posting rhythm, so I had about 3 posts a week. In between those posting days, I would just focus on playing around with each platform. So I might repost somebody else's post that I really liked, or I might draw inspiration for my next post. I might follow different people and different posts on those days. But really, my main rhythm was I would plan, post, and then record onto my sheet for the week my posts on each platform. However, towards the end of the project, I shifted to something a little bit different. On the last week and a little bit in the 5th week, I decided to try post scheduling. And one thing that I learned is that you can only schedule posts on business accounts for most of the platforms that I was working on, with the exception of YouTube, where you can schedule posts without a business specific account. The only one that I was not able to schedule for was Instagram, because my Instagram is private. And I found it made so much more sense to use Sunday as a content creation day. Got my posts scheduled, and then when the day came around, I was just able to record them on my sheet for each week's assignment, and it made things so much easier. So I wish I would have used that strategy earlier on in the game, but I'm glad that that was a hump that I overcame at all. My goals were my $100 quota on my fundraiser link, to understand each platform and get a good understanding of what worked and what didn't, and ultimately good engagement and garnering followers. So the thing about me is I have been a social media guru for a little bit, and I had a stint where I was super heavy into every single social media. Any social media you can name, I probably had it. And then after a while, I want to say for about 2 years, I didn't have like any social media. So these were new pages I was making and trying to get followers on and get engagement on. So I was really starting from scratch, and I did not meet my $100 quota, which I'll talk about later. But as disappointing as that is, I did learn other things about social media and things that were beneficial to my goals. And I do think I achieved a better understanding of how the platforms work, and I would say I achieved okay engagement. And I implemented these goals by including my link in most of my posts and really trying to focus on reasons why people would even want to donate, right? It's a time where right now the economy isn't really lent to people donating right now. And I fully understand that and acknowledge that, because even I'm not in a place right now to, donate as much as I would like to. And so the most important thing to me was putting the human side to it, how this really is a good, helpful cause. If you put your money towards this, it really is making a difference. It is a valuable contribution and a valuable cause. Now I'm going to go through more platform-specific goals and specifics. So we're going to start with Facebook. Here's an example of one of my Facebook posts. I made a poster that I then posted to other platforms later on in the project, because I really liked that this gave all the information. It provides the logo, the QR code to donate, and then the caption is very relatively inviting. And that's really what I focused on with Facebook, was keeping it inviting, was keeping it more family and friendly oriented, not very, how should I say this? Not very like trendy or anything, nothing too gimmicky. I wanted to keep it very, real, and this is a good cause. And Facebook was a platform that for me performed very well during this project. Next, we dive into Twitter, where I had some of my lowest engagement, and I probably wouldn't use this or call this platform my target platforms if I were to do this project over again. I would definitely be focused on Facebook and YouTube, where I had the best engagement. And although I didn't have good engagement on Twitter, it was still a pretty good platform to navigate and learn about. And with Twitter, I focused on hashtags. I focused on tagging the Laurel Highlands page and the Scouting America page. So it was really about, tagging, hashtags, and keeping it short, because Twitter feeds can be very busy, very busy. And so you want something people can easily digest. So this is an example of one that I posted, and this one keeps it nice and short and sweet, very nice visual. You'll notice that I kind of went a bit heavy with infographics during this project, and I just had a great time. I think that's what I had the best time doing, was making those infographics. But I will say the biggest challenge to that was drawing inspo, which is why having a content creation day is super helpful. But something I found on the days where I felt like my brain was just moving like molasses was using AI to help generate ideas. And obviously not just taking straight what the AI says, because sometimes that can sound robotic, but taking an idea and tailoring it to your specific cause and rewording it and everything can be a really good quick source of inspo. Pinterest was another platform that had relatively low engagement, but it is a platform that does not normally feel like the most social of the social medias. I, for a long time, wouldn't have even classified it as a social media, but it is a social media. And there are businesses that can have pretty good success on there. This just wasn't a, fundraiser that did very well on there, but I could see Pinterest being valuable to another brand. So with that being said, with Pinterest, I focused on aesthetics and everything, because a lot of Pinterest is aesthetic and very aesthetic heavy. And so I wanted to keep things, light, aesthetically pleasing. I went a little text heavy with this one, but I thought the quote was very important. And I will tell you, the other thing that I just love about Pinterest was that there is this nice convenient little visit button that you can click that, and it takes people to wherever you want to take them. So this took, you click that link, it takes you to my video, which you can see on my channel, about mental health and everything. And I think that that is great and such a good platform feature. On LinkedIn, my captions were typically a little bit longer and more focused on me talking about the value of this in an education stance, and talking more about, what Scouting America does as a business as well, because LinkedIn is a very, people are coming on here to learn something or, want to know more school related updates. I mean, a lot of the posts that I see on my timeline are people talking about their new jobs or their new certifications or something. So I tried to kind of lean into that, but also make it about the fundraiser. So I kind of, when I reposted that poster on here to introduce my project on LinkedIn, you can see my caption is significantly longer on here than it is on Facebook, because usually people's retention on here is a little bit longer. Instagram was super fun, and I felt that with Instagram, it's the same thing with Pinterest almost, except it has more the engagement of Facebook. I would say still that this is maybe my third most engaged with platform, but even then it was pretty low. But I will say overall that, as we can see, a pretty nice collage, keeping the caption relatively short. And a thing too is with Instagram, there is the stories, and that is where I got some great interactions too, where I was posting questions or polls like, do you know a scout, or have you been a scout? What questions do you have that I can answer? Which is also a good place to draw inspo and ideas from, is asking your audience. And lastly, big beautiful YouTube, where I have posted this video for your viewing pleasure. And I posted 2 shorts because we didn't use TikTok during this fundraiser, but I wanted to use shorts because I have used shorts before and I have gotten pretty good engagement on them. And I gotta say, YouTube shorts are, for a lack of better terms, poppin'. And I got pretty good views on those, and I even got pretty decent views on my one longer form video where I was just talking about why you should donate. And for YouTube, that's just, I really love YouTube because you can sit down and talk to your audience. It is coming from you, and I know that sounds pretty generic, but I just love that. I have always loved talking to people, and there's not a big, even with social media, right? There's some barrier because you're still talking to somebody through a screen. But I feel like with YouTube, it's way more, here I am talking to you face to face. So that's kind of what I focused on YouTube. For analytics, I just used each platform specific analytic option in like data part of the interface. I didn't use Hootsuite, but I would absolutely use it again and probably invest money in using it if I were to do this again. And learning a lot about Hootsuite in one of my other classes, I really like that platform. The only thing that held me back from it was the financial investment portion, but using the analytics alone on each respective social media channels was super helpful. And I would just kind of tailor it on, okay, this is working well. I see this is working well. I'm going to try and do that again, or I'm going to try and focus on that topic again. But one thing I really did learn about this entire thing, with that being said, is people can absolutely get ad fatigue. And what I mean by that is my posts in the beginning got better engagement than my ones towards the ending of the 6 weeks did. So you have to find some way to keep your content fresh, to keep your product or whatever you're advertising fresh, because people can get bogged down really quick, and people don't want to follow you if the only thing you're going to do is constantly pester them and poke them about buying something, investing in something. So I try to make sure that like not every post said, hey, donate today, do this, go to this link and spend money. Sometimes my link would say, oh, click here to learn more. It's providing a little bit more value than just, hey, donate your money to this. And I think that's what at first made me the most nervous about this project. And I've actually done this project before for a previous class. And so I'm glad that I had that as kind of a good confidence in the cause and jumping point. But I will say that with the using AI for inspiration, everything about ad fatigue, what works on different platforms and what doesn't, Facebook and YouTube were definitely my most successful ventures. Some of the most successful videos I had were my Mental Health Matters video, where I had 168 views on this short. I got 3 likes on that one. I got 7 impressions and 2 pin clicks on this one on Pinterest, which I just love this. I love this picture, and I love how simple the text is. And then I also got a 411 views on this post on Facebook, where I posted a video from the Laurel Highlands Council website about the Trailblazer program. I believe it was the district video. And then I tagged the Laurel Highlands Council on Facebook. They liked this post as well, so that was great. So there is that post, and then the statistics with that, so you can see the 411. And I have to say that Facebook statistics and analytics, their section on that is amazing and is wonderfully organized. You can organize it by so many different things, and it is so helpful that, the insights can almost be overwhelming. But I found that the platform-specific insights were very helpful. But I will say that for a multi-platform, campaign, you definitely might want to have a software to help you organize all of that, like Hootsuite or something like that. So overall, I would say that for my quota, I did not get anything. I met 0% of my quota, which sucks and is absolutely disappointing. Let me bring up the screenshot and then I want to talk more on that and my final thoughts. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see this, but I actually got a $100 donation and I met 100% of my goal. I'm not gonna lie, it says anonymous. Oh my goodness, 100 total raised. So I met 100% of the quota actually. And it says anonymous. I'm not going to lie with you. I did not even get an email about this. So I'm taken aback. I had no clue. I don't know. Yeah, I am just taken aback. I didn't know that I got a donation, but I am very happy to say that I met my quota. I am so honored, and I thank whoever donated that. Wow, I thought I meant 0% of it. So I will say that I am pretty pleased then with how this turned out, and anything can happen, and you might not even know. You might be surprised. So I'm very happy. I raised 100, and yeah, so I will say overall this project went pretty well. And even if I had raised 0, which definitely still obviously would have, that would have been disappointing. But I am very happy to say that this project has made me more confident in my sales ability and my ability to talk to people about business and network more, because I did talk to people, my family, my friends, anyone who would listen. I put up posters at my church and at my son's play group class about this cause, and I was doing my best to network and really make an impact. So I am so happy that this project went well, and I've really enjoyed this class, and I am happy that I had this in my last semester, and I'm honored to be a part of the cause. So thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye.